This is a story of hope, a story of conservation, a story of a team that dedicates themselves to preserve the ocean. Sri Lanka, an island nation located in South Asia, with a coastline that stretches 1,340 kilometers. The coastal areas of Sri Lanka are important for the country's culture, economy, and biodiversity. Fishing is a crucial aspect of Sri Lanka's economy and plays a significant role in the livelihoods of many communities. The majority of fishery activities are primarily classified as artisanal, with traditional and largely non-industrial fishing methods, but they operate at a very large scale. At over 900 landing sites across the country, fishers unload their catches every day. But among the more desired fish, like tuna, sharks and rays are caught too. Sharks and rays, also called elasmobranchs, are mostly caught as bycatch in Sri Lanka. Overfishing has caused a dramatic decrease in shark and ray numbers, with certain species dropping by more than 70% within the last 50 years. The Sri Lankan non-profit organisation, Blue Resources Trust, conducts various research projects and monitors landing sites across the country to better understand shark and ray fisheries.
Sharks and rays, which are elasmobranchs, have been quite neglected in terms of data collection, even at government level. It's always focused more on the sort of more valuable fish such as tunas and billfish. What we're trying to do is just collect data which will be baseline data going forward to understand the status of these species and to also be able to understand if any management that's applied to these species is actually working or not.
Naranchan and Dilrukshi's day starts early. At sunrise, they leave the field station. After a 20-minute bike ride, they arrive at the fishery harbour of Alaichennai. The boats arrive between 6 and 10 a.m. to unload their catches. Sharks and rays are landed too.
Yeah. Today we are here in the Valachene Harbour to monitor the shark and ray landings.
The survey starts by taking photos of the landed specimen to later identify the exact species. Afterwards, Niranchan and Dilrukshi take different measurements, like the total body length, and note them down.
So here I gonna collect the DNA sample. For that we have a sample valve here. So we take the photo with the valve and the specimen number.
He cuts a small piece out of the gills and puts it into the sample vial, which is filled with ethanol.
We also collect a lot of tissue samples. We've built up a data set of about 8,000 tissue samples now. And these samples are like a snapshot because they've been collected over the last 5 years and they're a snapshot into the species that existed then. We use these tissue samples for everything from identifying species to collaborating on larger global studies to understand population status, etc. And we're also setting up a small genetics facility ourselves to be able to do all of these analyses in-house that we otherwise have to export the samples to do.
The most valuable body parts of elasmobranchs are either their fins for sharks and some rays, or their gill plates for mobulate rays. Both fins and gill plates are exported. The shark and ray meat remains within the country, and some of it is sold fresh at fish markets. However, the majority of elasmobranch meat is consumed dried and salted. The meat is left out to dry in the sun for 3 days. Afterwards, it is distributed by wholesalers and sold at dried fish shops or supermarkets.
In here, Sri Lanka, we mainly consume shark and ray products as a dry fish. The problem is like we can't exactly identify which species belongs this dried meat part when we go into the market. So like they all, the all seller like sell it as if this is a shark meat. They didn't mention about the this shark meat from this species or this is for this species. So it is hard to identify the species, and that shark meat, that dried meat can contain the threatened species or the extinct, the near to extinct one. So it's the very big problem.
Lankika leads the country's first shark and ray conservation genetics laboratory at Blue Resources Trust, aiming to help conserve species by using DNA barcoding.
So in here, in this my project, I am building up the genetic like DNA reference library for around 50 species, and after I build up this reference library, I add those DNA references into the gene bank, and also I will give access for the custom officers and the other authorities who have been engaging in this trade for identification of shark and ray species to access to my reference library and get the most like opportunity for having those kind of reference library for the identification of shark and ray species.
Right now is a crucial point to act. Even though Sri Lanka is considered a small-scale fishery, there are still 50,000 vessels fishing across the northern Indian Ocean, with sharks and rays landed every day. But things are changing. This is Jamel. He has been a fisher for over 45 years. Niranjan asks him if he has witnessed a decline in shark and ray catches compared to the past. Jamel tells him about a large decline.
අඩුම ගානේ එනකොට ඉන්නවා. ඉඳලා ටිකක් බලාගෙන තමයි එන්නේ.
In the current situation, most of the fishermen say that there's no more sharks in the Sri Lankan waters, then they have to move to the international waters to catch sharks.
Niranjan meets up with Falil Gafoor, a trader working in the harbour of Chennai, who's observed similar changes as Jamel did.
මෝරු ටික ඉස්සෙල්ලත් ගොඩක් ඇවිල්ලා තිනවා. දැන් අඩු වෙනවා. ඔව්.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දැන් අවුරුදු 10කට 15කට කලින් මෝරු කොච්චරක් වගේ ආවද?
ඉස්සෙල්ලා ගොඩක් ආවා. කිලෝ බෝටුවට දවසට 500යි 600ක ආවා කිලෝ. දැන් සතියට එක මෝර දෙක දෙන්නයි ඒ වගේ තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඔව් මඩුව ඒ වගේ තමයි ඉන්නේ.
Jamel and Falel's observations are alarming. While shark and ray landings are decreasing worldwide, conservation efforts have only recently started to make progress. The main reason behind the decline in landings is the severe depletion of shark and ray populations through fisheries.
Sharks or rays, unfortunately, are not like other fish. They mature quite late. They usually take about 8 to 10 years to mature. When they give birth to very few live young, between 2 and 15, typically between 2 and 5. And also their gestation periods are very, very long. Sometimes they have gestation periods that are almost as much as humans, 9 months to a year. So all of these criteria put together mean that we cannot be fishing sharks and rays at the same rate that we fish other fish like tuna and sailfish, for example. We need to be a lot more careful with how we fish them. We can't catch them in the numbers that we're currently catching them. We can definitely not catch them in numbers comparable to how we catch tuna, because their populations take a long time to multiply, and if we keep catching them at the rates that we do, they're most likely to be very unsustainable.
Despite a rapid decline in shark and ray populations, one of the most important things is not to lose hope. Hope along with hard work and dedication, drives conservation.
My works gives me hope that it can help to protect endangered shark and ray species in Sri Lanka.
Our ultimate goal is the better future of the shark and race with the sustainable management without affecting for the fisherman livelihood.
I think we will achieve our goal by monitoring.
With their work and data collection, Blue Resources Trust takes important steps towards introducing management and better enforcement of legislation to support sustainable fisheries. Guardians of the ocean, like the team from Blue Resources Trust, are important, dedicating their efforts and expertise to the vital cause of mitigating overfishing of sharks and rays.